Hello and welcome back to the Generation Z podcast, and welcome back to our previous listeners as well. We hope you're all doing well. And today in this podcast, just want to educate everybody on sleep. We know it might be a bit strange, like, oh, sleep is just not really that important. I only got 6 hours yesterday, but
Yeah.
we wanna use this podcast to stress and kind of educate people on how important sleep genuinely is as a bodily function.
Yeah, it's huge. Like whatever you do in your life, whether it's just work related or sports related, gym related, anything, general health, all of it can be improved by sleep basically.
Yeah.
That's such a huge factor.
And we just want to highlight the benefits of turning sleep into something that a lot of people take for granted. And if you begin to turn it into a priority in your day-to-day life, I think particularly for college and university students, I think you're going to see a huge benefit in your just general well-being and health.
Yeah, I think at those ages, especially as like once you start turning into an adult, you need a lot of sleep. But it's also the time when you start getting the least amount of sleep just from stress or work or being on your phone.
Especially university.
Exactly. It's nights out,
going out a lot. But yeah, when we were just thinking about like what ideas we wanted to do for this podcast, I think we kind of both said that we'd listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with a neuroscientist called Matthew Walker, who's kind of a specialist in like the sleep field. And we both found like incredible value in that podcast. So we were kind of just like, let's give it. Look, we've learned a lot about how important sleep really is, and we kind of just want to regurgitate that information to you guys and just like give you a sense of how important sleep genuinely is like for people.
Yeah, I mean, I've been interested in sleep quite a while, just from like a bodybuilding gym standpoint. One of the first things you probably realize is that sleep is like a huge priority. So I was already interested in sleep before I saw that podcast. And then when I saw that podcast and learned even more about all the health benefits and basically everything to do with the podcast, including what we're about to go into, like REM and non-REM sleep, it was super interesting. So
it genuinely was. When I was watching the podcast, I think I couldn't keep my mouth shut because I was literally just like astounded by like the facts that the guy was talking about, how much the body or the brain in fact relies on sleep.
Yeah, it's mental. It's so underrated.
So yeah, we're just gonna first of all we're gonna just talk about the science of sleep, really.
Yeah, just like a little background, because obviously we're not neuroscientists.
Exactly. Yeah.
Little intro on it, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of show you guys kind of how a typical person goes through sleep, as Marcus just said, how the body alternates from REM and non-REM sleep. And then we're going to go into the benefits of getting a lot of sleep or getting good quality sleep. And then the negatives, of course, of not getting enough, because there is some genuinely astounding facts about how
ridiculous.
not a lot of sleep just basically kills you off early.
Literally,
it's as simple as that, and we'll go into that later on.
Yeah, and we're also going to touch on how to get a better quality sleep and just things you can do, like it's called like sleep hygiene, which is like your nighttime routine basically in order to get a better sleep. Go ahead, mate, you can give a little intro.
Cool. So basically sleep as the definition is basically how the body alternates between REM sleep, which is called rapid eye movement, and non-REM sleep. So during non-REM sleep, the body temperature and heart rate of yourself will fall dramatically, I think, because it's kind of cooling your whole body down and kind of using a lot less energy for the brain.
Mm.
And then in REM sleep, which is easily known or most commonly known as dream sleep, this is where the body is temporarily paralyzed, which is mental to me as well.
Bit dodgy.
And then this allows the brain to restore the immune, nervous, skeletal, and muscular system that you continuously kind of break down as you live during the day. Essentially, you don't realize this, but as you're just doing your day-to-day functions, like getting up and walking to work or going to the gym, all these sort of like nervous systems, all these sort of different systems in your body are being kind of broken down, like kind of in a minimal aspect, but that sort of sleep, that dream sleep, is so important to replenishing your body.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like obviously all you see is just the outside of you, basically your skin, but actually think of everything that's going inside your body. Every time you breathe, you know, your lungs are expanding, you're constantly digesting food, like it could be anything. And even a tiny little cut on your hand, when you go to sleep, your body's got to send signals to repair all of that.
Exactly.
Like there's so much going on within you that you need sleep just to recover in general. Even if you don't feel unwell, like your body has to recover.
Exactly. And that is why like REM sleep is so important, because that helps you to recover as quick as possible. If you're not getting this REM sleep, which is dream sleep, you're basically not able to recover as quickly, like from a common cold or from, as you said, an injury. These sorts of things, it's going to take a lot longer for you to recover if you're not getting this dream sleep.
Yeah, and something that you just quickly mentioned earlier was the links to the muscular system. So for all my gym bros out there, take note.
All the fitness pals.
Yeah, take note. In order to grow, you do need your sleep.
Exactly. And it's mental, because there's a reason why the body actually paralyzes you while you're in this sort of sleep.
What's that?
Because it actually it stops the body from physically acting out the dreams that you have during this sort of sleep. Okay. So like, you know that you get really, really intense dreams where you wake up and you think that has genuinely just happened.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
But like you've been in a fight and you've just been punched or whatever, and you wake up and you're like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? And you realize that you're in your bed, like your body's paralyzed, so your body doesn't actually just throw out a hand mid-dream.
Because not just left hooking your wall.
Imagine that, you just wake up and you just like, your whole hand is swollen because you just put a hole in your wall.
Scenes, right? But I think we're quite keen on doing a whole podcast on just like the other side,
dreams.
like the not so serious side of sleep, just like what is sleep, like what are dreams, just the weirdness side of it, basically.
Because there's some huge science to like dreams, and this Matthew Walker does go into a lot of detail about that, but I think we'll probably do that for another podcast if other people, if our listeners are kind of up for that. I think that would be quite interesting for us to do.
Yes, mate. But so for the number of hours of sleep you need, obviously newborns and adults are going to be very much different. The reason why newborn babies are just constantly sleeping is because they just need that sleep. So they have roughly 17 hours of sleep a day. But as you get, I mean, imagine that, sleeping 17 hours a day.
17 hours. And like, have you ever kind of, you see that, like you've got a newborn cousin or whatever, and you just think to yourself, like, why is he constant?
Why are you
it's like, why aren't you in the gym lifting weights?
Exactly, right. It's
just not good enough.
If my son's not lifting for 30 minutes to be out of the womb,
Yeah,
Disgraceful
genuinely.
behaviour. Not my
But
son.
like 17 hours of
Yeah.
sleep a day. And that is
Yeah.
basically just for the brain to develop just simple bodily functions like
Yeah.
moving fingers and
Mm.
joints, nervous system, as we said, skeletal system.
Yeah.
During these 17 hours, that is essentially what's happening to the newborn baby, and gradually the hours of sleep that you need during a day will decrease to about 7 to 9 hours when you are
Yeah.
fully developed, like from the age of 18-year-old onwards. I think it is.
Yeah.
It's you only need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep, which is not a lot.
Yeah. I think
It's
even 7 is like you're on the edge there. I reckon if
mm,
you go for 8 and above,
yeah.
then you're sweet basically. But
Hmm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I like to get 9 hours if I can. I think it's a very you'll always have people that are like, oh, I only got 6 hours sleep last night, but they're still like they're able to move around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're not too bad. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you could. Everybody's different. So if I get 8 hours of sleep, I'm still really tired. I just need my sleep. But even the
Hmm.
person that's sleeping 6 hours a night, even though they can still operate on that, that doesn't mean that they're not getting all the negative health effects of it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. Yeah. They're quite blind to yeah, they may feel fine they may feel fine in themselves at that current time,
mm,
but
it'll catch up.
yeah, it will essentially, it will catch up on you. And the fact is, you can't catch up on that sleep.
Yeah.
That 1 or 2 hours that you lost, you can't just have like a power nap and have like an hour nap. That
Mm,
statistically, or in like, you'd think that that would be the case, that you could literally just get 6 hours sleep and then have a
well,
2 hour power nap during the day,
to be
but that
fair,
quality of the 2 hour nap won't be as good as
mm,
if you'd add that if you added that onto the sleep during the night.
yeah, definitely. I think if you do get a poor night's sleep and you do have the chance to maybe get an hour's nap in the afternoon or something, then go for it. But
Hmm.
if you're constantly missing out on some sleep every night, then
Yeah.
that like you can't catch up on that full night's sleep.
Hmm.
So that's when
And
stuff.
yeah, if you're, yeah, as you said, even if you're consciously saying, right, I'm gonna stay up until 3 a.m.,
Mm,
that's just not a good idea. Just
yeah,
like, what is going on at 3 a.m. that you need to stay up for?
nothing, mate,
Like,
nothing.
I don't really understand that aspect of how people can just go to bed at like 2 a.m. like normal.
I know.
It's just like, everybody's asleep at 2 a.m. Why don't you just fucking go to
Yeah.
sleep?
It'll just be you're caught in that YouTube spiral where it's like
Yeah.
3 a.m. You're
Oh, I have
watching,
been guilty of that. I have been
yeah,
guilty of that,
just
but
watching like
not recently.
you're just watching the typical like 10
Yeah.
most dangerous sea creatures ever.
Yeah.
Or so,
Yeah. Yeah.
just shit you don't even
Yeah.
care about.
Yeah. What would happen if the sun was a mile closer to us, or
Yeah,
something
just a
really
load of shit.
obscure? Yeah.
But just going
It's
back
just
to
proper interesting.
just going back to catching up on sleep. If you were sleeping 8 hours a night and then for some reason you just start sleeping 7 hours a night instead, so you lose 1 hour sleep every
Hmm.
day, you might think, oh, it's only 1 hour sleep. But over the course of 8 days, that's already 8 hours of sleep you've lost.
Hmm.
Over 8 days, you've already lost out on a whole sleep's worth, basically.
Hmm.
So it adds
That
up
is so
quickly.
true.
If you
That
start
is
doing
so
that
true.
over a month, over 6 months, over a
Mm,
year even, and that's only from
yeah.
8 to 7 hours. You go from 8 to 6 hours, like over
Yeah.
a year. That's
Yeah.
mad.
I know. And as we said, you can't catch up on that. Even if you
Yeah.
think you can through napping or whatever, it's just not the same quality of sleep that you'd get. You wouldn't be able to, you can't get into that, as we said, you can't get into that REM sleep state within an hour.
Yeah,
Like, it
exactly.
takes time. You have to go through the stages of non-REM sleep before you can even access that quality recovery sleep.
Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
think
just not
REM sleep
possible.
even lasts that long. I think it's only for like
No,
3 or 4 hours or something, and it
exactly.
takes a while to get there as well. So,
Exactly.
but if you're sleeping, say Monday to Friday, you're working a job, so you might only get, I don't know, 6 hours sleep or something. You do that Monday to Friday and you think, right, Saturday I'm going to have a 10 hour sleep. I'm going to catch up on all that sleep. That 10 hour sleep is not going to outdo all the negative
No.
effects of Monday to Friday 6 hours sleep. So you
And
do need to
also,
have a good sleep every night.
you're also going to find it hard to get that 10 hours because your body clock is constantly saying, right, you go to bed at this time and you're getting up at that same time. If you were to say, right, I'm going to go to bed at the same time, but I want to wake up 4 hours later, like, your body's just not going to adapt to that. Like, you, as much as you tell your body that, your brain is going to overpower you and it's just going to wake you up. Like, you're not going to genuinely be able to go back and get that 4 hours of sleep properly. Like, you just have to say, right, I'm going to go to bed at 11 p.m. every day and I'm going to get up at 7. Like,
Yeah.
that's a
And
suitable time period to be like going to bed.
yeah, and what you're just saying there about say 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. that goes it links well with your circadian rhythm, which is kind of an
Hmm.
interesting thing. It's like your internal 24-hour clock, and it's
Yeah.
linked to like daylight and sunlight, so it makes you more alert in the morning, makes you more tired in the evening, and that's just like a
Hmm.
natural internal clock we have. So when you start trying to fight
Exactly.
that and you start going to bed at 4 a.m. and waking up at, I don't know, like 1 in the afternoon,
Mm.
you're going against your natural body clock basically.
Exactly.
So
Hmm.
you're also going to get a poorer night's sleep.
Yeah, and the fact is, though, this is pretty interesting to me, like kind of off topic, but actually, no, it is kind of related. There's also, like, when you hear the birds tweeting outside,
Mm,
that's kind of signifies that the rest of the world is waking up, and
yeah.
usually, like, these animals are doing that when there's sunrise. Right, we're back. Little technical issue, but
Mm,
we're just going to go straight back into it about the kind of the internal 24-hour clock that humans have. It's kind of similar to nature, just in general, because nature get up when sun rises. So, like, the birds tweet when the sun rises. Like, other animals except human beings are getting up when the sun rises.
mm,
And that is what we should be doing as human beings. But because we're going to bed at like 3 a.m. and getting up at 1 p.m.,
yeah.
it's you're missing out so much of the day. If you think about it, if you're getting up at 1 p.m. and the rest of the world, like nature, like the birds are tweeting at 6:30, you've missed out about 5 hours of the day.
Yeah, and I know people are going to be like, yeah, but you go to sleep at 11 and I'm staying up to 3. I can have that period to get stuff done. Let's be honest, when it gets to 11 p.m., everybody
You're
just
not doing
goes,
anything.
all right, yeah, I'm just going to go sit in my room for a bit, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nothing's open at that time.
Yeah,
Like, there's
there's
fuck
nothing
all to
going
do
on
anyway.
at that
Yeah,
time,
but
so
yeah,
you might as well just get some sleep.
literally. But linked to the circadian rhythm is a hormone called melatonin. Now, this is
Yeah.
important because it's links to like your phone and social media and all that,
Hmm.
which we'll touch on later. But basically, it is a hormone which is produced and secreted in order to make you more tired. So when it starts to get dark, it starts to be produced, which gives your body the signal, be like, right, it's dark, I'm tired now, go to bed.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if you don't get sunlight during the day, like natural sunlight as well, not just like light in your room, basically, like proper
Yeah.
sunlight, and then you have a large explosion, exposure to blue light in the evening. So like your phone produces blue
Yeah.
light or a
Yeah.
TV, then it's going to mess up your melatonin cycle, and that's going to cause your sleep to suffer because it will start getting to night and then it's dark, but because you're using your phone, you're getting all that blue light, you're not getting that melatonin production, so you don't get the signal to make yourself tired, basically.
Exactly. The fact that I think it's genuinely crazy what the brain does to get you to go to sleep. Like releasing hormones inside of you to tell you, right, you've got to go to sleep now.
Yeah,
it's got to be that's got to be a
it's a
sign
sign,
to everyone,
mate.
to
Don't
be
try
like,
and fight it.
you can't fight that. If your brain is telling you for the benefit of you to go to sleep, then don't try fight it because you want to flick through social media for a couple more hours. Just fucking turn your phone off and go to bed. Like,
literally,
social media's not going to disappear.
Exactly. It's
So
going to be
don't
there
worry.
when you wake up. It's all right.
Yeah, don't worry, calm it, all right?
But yeah, as you were saying, like, don't try and fight it. People that
Yeah.
do night shifts are literally going against their circadian rhythm, fucking up their melatonin cycle, and this is absolutely mental. Night shift work is now considered a carcinogenic, which basically means it's cancer-inducing, just because you're basically fighting your biological clock.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
we'll go into that is to do with the long-term effects of not getting enough sleep, and it's not just cancer that a lack of sleep can give you in the long term. It's plenty of other stuff that
We'll start on the positive note. We'll start on the benefits.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think everybody can just agree on, if you get a really good sleep and you wake up at a decent time, your overall mood is so much better.
Oh, 100%. Like, yeah. Definitely.
When you're waking up on 6 hours sleep, you just feel groggy, tired, pissed off easily. If you just wake up naturally after a really good quality sleep, you just feel fresh. You feel good.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Like you wake up naturally and then you're ready to start the day. You're ready. You've got that energy. You've got that spring in your step to go out and kind of get shit done. But if you're just getting up, at like 12 a.m., you're not gonna wanna. You're gonna, because you've missed so much of the day. You're literally just gonna write off the rest of the day. You're literally gonna get up, get in the shower, and then by that time it's gone lunchtime. So essentially, you would have missed. Obviously, you're going to catch up on those 2 meals, but if you're following a normal sleeping schedule, you would have missed breakfast and lunch by the time that you've woken up, which
is just fucks everything, because that just leads to poor nutrition as well.
And that's what we're going to go into. It's all linked. It's crazy.
Yeah. Linked to kind of mood is just your energy as well, and bodily functions, just general health. Basically, it's going to be so much better when you get adequate sleep because you're allowing recovery to take place.
Yeah. And that's also to helping out with people that are going to the gym. If you're getting that sufficient sleep, you're going to be able to be more effective at growing muscle, and you're also going to be more effective in terms of your performance in the gym.
Massively.
Because you've got that increased energy level, because you've had that adequate recovery from the night before, you're gonna be not even just in the gym. We're talking about sport in general. We're just talking about your football performance. If you play football on the weekend, your football training, like training is just as important as the match. Like, that's stressed so much. Like, if you generally put in 110% in training, then you're going to be at peak performance on the weekend, and everybody wants to leave the field after 90 minutes and be like, right, I couldn't have done any better there, and I put in a bloody fucking sick performance. So exactly. So sleep is definitely going to help you with that.
Yeah. Just going back to the gym quickly, for muscle growth, is that you protein synthesize when you're sleeping, which just means that that's when you actually recover and grow and repair or you repair the muscle and it repairs it and makes it slightly bigger.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you do work out and you're not progressing, I can guarantee, look at your sleep. If you're on 6-7 hours sleep, up it to 8, even more if you can, you're going to recover and you're going to be lifting more in the gym. No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Performance will
yeah,
your performance will just skyrocket.
yeah.
100%.
And fat loss as well aids fat loss. If you get
Yeah.
a proper night's sleep, then you're just lowering your stress levels because you're waking up, you feel good, you have more energy to
Yeah.
do your cardio if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But
You have more natural energy. You don't need
yeah,
to snack and consume foods to
or
get that,
coffee. You don't rely on
or
coffee all
coffee.
day.
Exactly.
Then you start
That
fucking up your heart as well if you just constantly just
exactly.
coffee all day. It's
Coffee,
like mad.
yeah. Like you get up and because you've had that 8 hours, 9 hours of good quality sleep, that essentially is your coffee for the morning.
Yeah,
that
literally.
and it's probably more effective because caffeine is not very good for you in the long term. So if
Well,
you're
only if you're having
reduced,
like loads of coffee every day. Yeah, if you're
yeah,
having a coffee in the morning, like you can't. But yeah,
but if
I know what
you're
you
on
mean.
like 5 and 6 a day, then yeah,
Yeah, you got a
that's gonna
problem, mate.
start beginning. Yeah, so you've got a fucking problem.
I tell you what, you could easily replace your coffee with an adequate amount of sleep and a cold shower.
Yeah,
You'll be awake after that.
yeah,
Nature's coffee,
more
mate. More
than if
like,
you were to have a double shot of black coffee, because
yeah, or espresso,
go
whatever it is.
that will go after a couple of hours because the caffeine would have been like gone out of your system. But if
Yeah,
you're getting adequate sleep and you're shocking your nervous system with a cold shower, that
yeah,
is going to last throughout the whole day, even after you've been to the gym. Obviously you may be a bit tired,
mm,
but after you've had a decent bit of food, like your post-workout meal, you're gonna feel like you never went to the gym, and you're gonna be like, oh, I could go again.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you think you can go to the gym again, you're probably not training hard enough, in my opinion. But
yeah, well,
I'll be that
we're not.
guy.
Yeah, we're not all like you, are we, Marcus? We're not
Take it
all
to
fucking.
failure. One more,
We're not
one
all
more,
fucking.
one more. That's all I want people to do. Whenever you feel like you're training to failure in the gym, just imagine me in your ear just being one more,
Yeah,
one more.
one more. Oh, you could do one more. Oh, pussy.
Pussy.
So yeah, so we talked about the benefits, and now we're going to talk about the negatives of not getting enough sleep,
Here we go.
which to us is the most like astounding when we were listening to the podcast and also
Yeah,
just doing more external research just because we
yeah,
were curious.
yeah. Like this isn't just a rip off of that podcast. Like
No,
we've been doing our own thing for this, but
yeah,
also linking it to the gym and stuff as well.
exactly. So first short term negative of not getting enough sleep is depression. And people
Yeah.
might be like, oh, that's a bit far fetched.
Nah.
But you think about how much a lack of sleep puts stress on you, both physically and mentally.
Mm.
If you're not getting enough sleep every single day, that stress is only going to build up. It's not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah. Like,
And in the long term, a high level of stress every day is one of the major factors for depression.
yeah.
Like,
It's just think if you were getting like say somebody comes down the stairs in the morning, they've had 6 hours sleep, and you say, "Oh, morning," they're probably going to be a bit mumbly, can't be bothered to speak. Somebody who's got that, like they're a bit depressed or a bit stressed, probably. Somebody's had a good amount of sleep, wake up, they got a good amount of energy, they're happy, basically.
mm-hmm.
If you're getting poor sleep every night, it's just going to build up. You're going to feel drained. It's just no wonder you
It's
feel
just,
depressed.
yeah, it's not going to benefit you in any way. Obviously there are other huge factors that lead to depression, but
Yeah,
sleep is, you may not think it, but it could potentially, if you're looking at your sleeping pattern, it could be one of the things that is in that massive circle of things that are going on in your life. There obviously there are external things that you can't control, which are leading to high levels of stress. But if your body, if you're starting the day tired, groggy, you're not gonna want to be productive or do anything substantial during that day.
Yeah.
And then that leads to, just, if you're not growing as a person, then you're not happy. Like,
Yeah,
it all
it's
links.
all linked. Yeah, I think another thing just there is that if you are getting a poor amount of sleep, you wake up in the morning and you're like, fuck me, I'm so tired. You snooze your alarm and you keep on snoozing, and you end up sleeping in. And then next thing you know, you're late to uni or you're late to work, and that causes even more stress.
Yeah.
So like,
You're like,
if you,
oh, I've missed a lecture, I've missed a
yeah,
seminar, or like
literally,
you were supposed to meet mates and like you abandoned, like you said, nah, I'm not doing it, just because you didn't get enough sleep.
yeah,
Like, and then you're not, and it's
it's a
just
downward
not,
spiral.
it's a downward spiral from there, essentially. You're not starting the day properly if you're not getting enough sleep. That's basically what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
But we'll continue with the short-term negatives. We found through research that a lot lactic acid build-up increases substantially if you're not getting enough sleep. If
I'm not sure.
if that build-up is increasing through not getting enough sleep, you're not going to want to go to the gym, first of all, because you're just going to get to the gym and you're going to be like, oh, fucking hell, I'm tired already. I haven't even started.
Yeah,
So,
you'll
and
realize that you won't be recovering in time for your next session, which I mean, just again, is going to lead to poor performance, and you won't be strong enough. I mean, the key thing to putting on muscle is progressive overload. If you're not recovering and you can't progressively overload, then you're not putting on muscle. Simple.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's very true. And another fact, it's quite astounding to me generally, because like you wouldn't think this, but a lack of sleep impairs the lungs' ability to inhale oxygen as
Madness.
effectively as usual.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting enough sleep, then you're going to be out of breath more often during the day, which is like, even if you're not doing anything, even if you're not doing anything because you haven't got enough sleep, like oxygen it keeps you alive.
Yeah.
Why would you want to suppress your lungs' ability to inhale such a vital
literally, as we go through these, you'll probably realize that not getting enough sleep just every way possible is just slowly killing you. Like, it literally, you might think that's extreme. It's true. Sorry to break it to you.
Yeah, we're here to just give the straight facts, and we don't care like if you're about the opinions about if people are like I don't really care what they say about this. Look, this is just straight facts.
Yeah,
like, we're not making this up. We're not making this up.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but generally, to end off like the short-term drawbacks, is higher risk of injury. In general, there was a fact. It says if you get 5 hours of sleep every day over the course of a season, like a football season, or if you're at university and you play rugby or whatever sport you do play, your risk of injury increases by 60% if you're getting 5 hours of sleep. So that's over half. Which just means you won't be able to play as much, and then you're just going to be on the bench all the time, and you're just going to watch your team play because they've prioritized their sleep over, and you haven't, essentially.
Yeah, and that doesn't even surprise me, because it's just going back to what we said earlier about all the bodily functions that need to repair. I mean, even just for somebody who doesn't play sport, 5 hours sleep means their body is just deteriorating, basically. If you're putting extra pressure on top of that through a sport, then you need that sleep so much more.
That's the combination of the increase in lactic acid buildup combined with all the reduced peak performance, all that sort of stuff. That's just not gonna that's just not going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form. So
Yeah.
short term drawbacks, there's loads more than that. We've just highlighted a couple, but the list goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll move on to long term, which is it just basically gets worse.
Yeah.
But,
like this isn't a very it's not a very positive podcast today.
No,
like,
it's not. But
we've
people do need to hear it. To be fair,
doesn't,
because
as we said, it doesn't matter what you think about it. We're just educating you on how sleep is so important.
Yeah, because for the Gen Z demographic, especially, like this is something that
Yeah.
most people will be under 8 hours of sleep, I reckon.
Oh,
And if
yeah,
they are
100%.
and if they are getting 8 hours of sleep, it's probably because they're going to bed at 3 and waking up at 2. Well, that's
exactly. Yeah, I don't know a lot of university students that are going to bed at 11 p.m. every day. Like it's very abnormal for someone to be going to bed at 11. So
yeah, literally. But first thing on long term is it is one of the main links to obesity. Now, this is all linked to, as we said earlier, stress, depression might cause you to eat more, but it's also poor hormone regulation.
Okay.
Your body's just not operating as it should, can lead to more fat storage, because obviously fats are essential for hormone regulation, good dietary fats. And if you're getting poor sleep, you're probably not going to be, as we said earlier, when you're waking up and you're not eating at proper times, your whole nutrition goes to shit. Basically.
Just goes out the window. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So,
how many times have you been not had enough energy because you haven't had enough sleep, and you find yourself down in the kitchen looking through the fridge at 2 a.m. because you're hungry, because you're still awake.
Yeah.
And your body just because you're awake and you feel hungry, so you just go, oh, I'm just going to go down and have a chocolate bar, or I'm going to snack on something that's just not very calorie dense. And that progressive everyday snacking before you go to bed is just gonna pile up the pounds, and it's gonna turn into kg, and it's just gonna get out of hand.
Yeah, and as you're just saying there about being up at 2 a.m. whatever, if it's 2 a.m., even though you might be awake, you're not going to be cooking a healthy, nutritious meal at 2 a.m. You just think, oh, what have I got in the cupboard?
Yeah.
But as I was saying just before, it's not just the sleeping pattern that's messing up what you're eating. Obviously, that plays a huge role, but it is just your general bodily functions with not enough sleep are all going to go to shit, basically.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, like melatonin, like all those, that hormone, that's a very important hormone. And if you're not kind of accepting it's like the messages that your brain's giving to you, then as you said, you're literally just rejecting what your brain is telling you to do, and that's just
it's like a natural 24-hour clock cycle. Like you need to be
it's
in
doing
tune
it
with
for
it.
a reason. It's
Yeah.
doing it for a reason to benefit you. It's not saying, oh, go to bed just because you're bored. Like, it's tired. You need to go to bed.
And if you're not feeling tired at that point, it's because you're basically just blocking out that hormone from even being produced through the use of blue lights, like your phone or TV, whatever.
Exactly. That's
but
true.
You can carry on, mate.
So the second long-term drawback of not getting enough sleep is, as we said earlier, a lack of sleep is heavily linked to cancer, particularly cancer of the bowel, prostate, breast cancer. These are cancers that are huge at the moment. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are dying of these cancers. And that is rooted in one way, shape, or form to sleep. Because if you're getting 6 hours or less, then this actually encourages the growth of these tumors inside your body.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
because you're not recovering properly, and because, as you said, poor hormone regulation and all the other previous things that we talked about, these all intertwine and they all come together to just encourage these
I
growth
think,
of tumors, which is just crazy to me.
just to be clear, we're not saying that like poor sleep alone is going to cause you to get cancer, but
No.
it increases the chances.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does increase the chance by
by
like a
quite a lot as
considerable
well.
amount,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
what we're saying.
yeah,
So yeah, also a lack of sleep in the long term leads to aging of the body.
yeah. I
I
think this is.
saw
Yeah, sorry, go on.
this. Yeah, I was just gonna recall a fact that I forgot his name now. Matthew Walker. That's it. He
Mm,
said that if you get insignificant amount of sleep, then in the long term your body is gonna age 10 years into the future, like ahead. So essentially, if you're 18 years old and you're not getting a decent amount of sleep, in the like your body is gonna feel like it's a 28-year-old's body rather than an 18-year-old's body.
disgusting, mate.
So and your youth is so powerful. Like you can do so much with your body at such a young age, like 19, 20.
Mm,
If you're not getting enough sleep and your body is aging progressively over a long period of time, you're not going to reach your potential. You're not going to know how good you would look in the mirror if you applied yourself for 2 years dedicated in the gym with sufficient recovery. You're not going to know that because you just won't think about it because nobody's placing a high priority on sleep.
yeah, and even linked to that, just talking about the way you look and stuff, I'm pretty sure that poor sleep is linked to increased spots and acne as well,
Yeah,
which probably
probably. Yeah, in
nobody
the short
wants.
term. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You spend so much money and time with a skin routine to get rid of these acne, all this acne and these spots and stuff. But if you just went down to the fundamental basics of recovering
literally.
properly and getting enough, like having 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep a day, you wouldn't have to spend all this amount of money on your skincare routine. You might just need to have like a moisture cream and 8 hours of sleep, like perfect combo in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I can literally speak from being through this myself. I used to have
Hmm.
such bad acne around my forehead and stuff. It was horrible.
Yeah,
I can tell
yeah,
you, before buying any creams or anything like that, because obviously some people will need them,
yeah,
try clean up your diet, stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, and get a good amount of sleep.
yeah,
And then, if none of that works, then you can look into face creams or
yeah,
get prescribed a medication or something, because those three
exactly.
things are going to help so much.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
they're just basic things that you can apply in your life right
mm,
now.
yeah,
Like
literally,
you don't need to buy anything. You can literally clean up your diet. You can take that step right now. Like
mm,
just go, right, I'm not going to eat shitty foods. I'm going to get 9 hours of sleep a night. I'm going to do all these things, and it's going to help you in both the short term and the long term.
yeah.
100%.
I
We
think,
guarantee it.
yeah, literally. So as we were saying about the aging of the body, I mean, that really shouldn't come as a surprise at this point, because as we said, you're basically just deteriorating your body. You're not allowing for any recovery to take place,
Hmm.
which again leads to the next point, which is heart attack risk increases. And something really important here is that this risk increases regardless of your age, regardless of your weight, regardless of how much
Mm.
exercise you do. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. If you start getting really poor sleep, heart attack chances increase rapidly. And I can't remember exactly what the figure is, but it's something like the difference between sleeping 8 hours and then sleeping under 6 hours increases the chance of a heart attack by 40%. And don't quote me on that, but it's something like
Yeah.
that. Like
it's a big
just from a
percentage, yeah.
small dip in sleep increases it so much
Mm.
more.
And you think about how many people die of heart disease a year
Yeah.
or heart attacks. It's the biggest killer in the
Mm.
UK, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong,
I'm not
but
sure, to be honest, but yeah.
heart attacks are, I think, the biggest killer for
Mm.
people just in general.
Yeah. Obviously, there will be
So,
other factors to play, but sleep could definitely be one of them.
as we said, yeah, sleep is like going to contribute a significant percentage towards that risk.
Mm.
So, now we've got rid of all the kind of the
Yeah.
darkness
Now
around the subject.
people are thinking, well, this is great, but how do I get a better night's sleep?
And this
That's what
is
they
where
want
we
to
come
know.
in. And this is
Yeah.
where we come in. So, one thing that we want to stress, which is probably the biggest recommendation that we can give you now, is regularity.
Yeah. Regularity and
You've got,
routine.
yes, you've got to go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time every day,
Yeah.
7 days a week,
Yeah.
every week of every month. And it's got to be, you've genuinely got to want to do this. Like, it can't
Yeah.
just be like set bedtime clocks. Like, I'm going to go to bed at 11. I'm going to set an alarm for as soon as the alarm goes off at 11 p.m. I'm shutting my phone off and I'm just going to bed.
Yeah,
Or
it's so important. But like,
yeah,
try stick to it as much as you can. Obviously, not gonna be like, all right, it's 1 minute past 11. Got to be on there.
yeah.
But
You've
yeah,
got to just remind
remind
yourself
yourself.
that
Just roughly be
that
in the area every night.
yeah,
But I think
exactly.
linked to that, obviously, if you can't do it every day of the year because you'll have a social event one day or
Mm,
whatever, and that's
yeah,
a thing for students, especially like after a night out, whatever. You just need to face the fact that next day you're going to be tired. So, say you get in
hmm
at, I don't know, you fall asleep at 4 a.m. after a night out, and you usually wake up at 9. All right, well,
yeah,
maybe sleep into 10:30, just get a bit of a shitty night's sleep, but make sure
hmm
at 10:30 you just get up, just face the fact that you're tired,
exactly.
and you're going to
Yeah,
be tired enough from a lack of sleep that in the evening you can reset to your old schedule again.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. As I said earlier, maybe not so much. I want to go back to that. Maybe not so much 7 days a week, like constant. I'm not saying don't have a social life, don't go out,
yeah,
come home from the pub at 10:30 in time for 11.
yeah,
Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you have to. It has to be a conscious decision
yeah,
for you to want to kind of prioritize the sleep where you can. As
yeah,
Marcus said, if you're going to bed at 4 a.m. because you've just come back from a fat rave or like you've
yeah.
been on a night out or whatever,
4 a.m.'s
then
generous, right? It'd be about 7:30.
yeah, true that. Yeah,
Sat in the kitchen.
that's true. But yeah, maybe, but obviously, if you get 5 hours sleep after a night out, then brilliant. Like, that's, you just try
Yeah,
to get as much sleep as you can after a night out.
yeah,
As we said, accept that you will be tired. Maybe not do anything during that day. So like, you kind of just give that day a kind of, that's the kind of your recovery day. Essentially, you're
mm.
not doing as
But
much.
don't sleep during the
Maybe
day. Even if you're having
no.
it as a recovery, don't just be like, "Oh, it's recovery day. I get a nap like, all day."
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not.
Yeah, because if you get up at 7 p.m. and you, after like a three hour nap, that is gonna make your body clock even worse.
Yeah,
So yeah, just get up after you've had about 5 hours of sleep and then
yeah.
just tackle the day, I guess.
But exercise and sleep is the perfect relationship, basically, because exercise or working out aids sleep, and then sleep helps you exercise and work out. Like
Hmm.
it just works both ways. So yeah, if you
Yeah,
want to improve your sleep, do some exercise. Easy one.
yeah,
And
plain and simple.
before sleeping, so I have a little evening routine. As I said earlier, people refer to it as sleep hygiene, but evening routine, same thing.
Hmm.
Um, Eliminate exposure to light, so because this disturbs REM sleep, and this is linked to what I was saying earlier about melatonin.
Hmm.
So you want to limit your phone, TV, laptop use, whatever, in the evening, because that is giving you exposure to blue light, which is going to inhibit the release of melatonin, which is, as I said, the signal to make you sleepy, basically.
Exactly.
And what I do on my phone is turn the brightness down basically all the way, put night mode on if I do want to use my phone, and also night shift. And when you turn night shift on your phone, you'll realize that all the colors go slightly orangey, and that's basically just blocking out the blue light. Obviously, don't rely on that, because it's not like gonna completely block it all out. But yeah.
Linked to that as well, limiting just phone use, or phone use in the evening. That kind of directly correlates with limiting is social media. Because in fact, social media, as we said in our previous podcast, it causes dopamine spikes, making you just more alert and like generally awake. And that's if you're trying to get to sleep, your body's still kind of whizzing around and processing all this information that you're giving it. It's going to take a lot longer for it to cool down when you actually do go to sleep, because you're going to turn your phone off and your brain is going to obviously be exposed to that blue light and all that social media and those dopamine spikes, and they're all just going to stall your ability to start to accessing non-REM sleep, which is like the first stage to sleeping, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you're lying in bed and you're trying to get to sleep and you've got your phone right next to you and you have a notification go off and you get that little buzz, little dopamine spike, you look and you see it's Snapchat. Most people aren't just going to see that Snapchat and just be like, I'll get it in the morning. Straight on it, open up
That's
Instagram,
why you've got
check
notifications
DMs,
on, because you want
literally put your phone on airplane mode in bed. Don't keep Wi-Fi on. You don't want to get notifications. And again, linked to melatonin is in the evening, use a lamp if you can, just like a dim light in the background instead of having your main light like I've got on at the moment.
Just limiting general light within like your vicinity is always good to helping you like get into that sleepy mode, because it's like the room's more dark, and
melatonin
as
release.
we said, melatonin release, as we said, it's all linked.
And one thing you'll see some bodybuilders do, because in the gym kind of community, like sleep is just prioritized because it's like the main thing for muscle growth. A lot of bodybuilders will wear blue light blockers, so they're kind of they're glasses but with like orange tints on them, and that's just going to stop all the blue light coming in. So that's similar to night shift mode on your iPhone. It will also turn all the colors orange to stop blue light. But I mean, that's if you want to take your sleep really seriously, you can invest in some blue light blocker glasses. I personally don't.
I don't have any of them, but instead of using those blue light blockers, which would probably be more effective, and what I'm starting to do, and I know Marcus is reading before going to bed, or even listening to a podcast, preferably the Generation Z podcast, of course. And put that on, maybe put an audio book on, or read before you go to bed, because that, as we said, is just going to limit your exposure to blue light. And I find personally, when I'm reading before I go to bed, my eyes start to drift off automatically, and I read for about half an hour before I go to bed. That's kind of what, obviously you can read for however long you want, but after half an hour, I'm like, okay, I'm
get sleepy
now. And I just turn the light off, throw the book away, and I'm off.
Literally. I think another good thing about podcasts and audiobooks as well is they have sleep timers on them, so you can literally just put on a podcast, put it on for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, it'll just cut off, and you can just fall asleep. So be conscious of your water intake. Obviously, if you're drinking a litre and then going to bed, you're going to wake up at 3 a.m, need a piss, so just don't drink water. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not
Pretty
saying
self-explanatory.
don't drink water, but if you stay hydrated throughout the day, then you don't
Yeah.
need to be drinking water just before you go
Yeah.
to bed. And I'm not going to tell people to cut off water before a certain time, because obviously it's down to you. If you feel like you're dehydrated, have a drink. But personally, 1.5 to 2 hours before bed, I kind of cut off my water intake. That's fine, because I've drunk a lot throughout the day.
Exactly, because that's actually a really good point, because this in somewhat links to obesity, because I think sometimes before people go to bed they haven't had a lot of water during the day and they think they're hungry when really it's just they're
Thirsty.
dehydrated.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
realize that when you're dehydrated, you don't really realize you're dehydrated until you have a glass of water. Because I
Yeah.
find that sometimes I start drinking a glass of water and I've finished the whole pint, and I'm
Yeah.
literally
That
like,
is good water.
Jesus, yeah. And I'm like, this is some good quality tap water.
Yeah, no, I know
and
what you mean. A lot of the time, you're probably just thirsty more than hungry. And by the way,
and then after you have water, you're literally just like, right, I'm not actually that hungry anymore. It was just that I needed some water.
yeah, I'm by no means telling people to skip meals or just drink water,
No,
but just keep in mind, if you're hungry, it could just be dehydration.
you're dehydrated, yeah.
And make sure to also have a big glass of water in the morning. Just think, if
Hmm.
you're sleeping for 8-9 hours, that's 9 hours you've been without water. So when you wake up, you'll probably notice if you go for a piss in the morning, it's probably not dark
Yeah,
yellow brown. You're really dehydrated. So
yeah,
big glass of water in
yeah.
the morning.
Be conscious of that as well. If your piss isn't like clear see through,
Should be like a
then
light
that.
pale yellow. If it's completely white, it's overhydrated. All right, that's actually a thing. Overhydration.
Oh really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It
Oh
is a
fucking
thing.
hell!
You can be
I didn't know that.
overhydrated. Yeah. So it shouldn't be like pure white. I don't know why I'm an expert on piss, but I am.
Yeah.
Again,
What do
it's
you
all
get up to? What do you get up to
it,
during the day, mate?
it's all gym related, right? I
Yeah,
promise.
it's
But yeah,
research.
it's research, right?
So yeah,
You don't want to be stood next to me in a
hydration.
urinal.
No,
Your piss
you're
isn't
just
good enough.
observing people's piss. You're just like,
Oh, it's nice knowing you, mate. Brown.
yeah, it's like you need a glass of water. You what? Shut up. What's it got to do with you? um, but yeah, another recommendation is, which for me I've found to be hugely beneficial, is decreasing your overall body temperature.
Yeah,
So this means before you go to bed, like opening a window for about like 15 minutes to 20 minutes, just
yeah,
so that you're getting like a cool breeze inside. And also, which is a bit counterproductive, but have a hot shower,
yeah.
or a hot
Hot
bath
bath, yeah,
before you go to bed, because I'm going back to what this Matthew Walker said. He said that it actually, a hot shower causes your body temperature when you leave to drop
yeah,
significantly, and that is just going to aid you in being able to get to sleep quicker, because your body at the start of non-REM sleep, it it reduces your body temperature anyway. So if you've just given your body that extra boost, then you're just going to go to sleep a lot quicker.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. If you're making yourself really hot, then your body always wants homeostasis. So it's going to see, all right, huge spike in temperature. Let's bring that down, bring the body temperature
Mm-hmm.
down. And yeah,
Yeah.
as you said, that is going to help you get to sleep.
And last recommendation,
Yeah,
if you're an absolute madman,
animal.
absolute animal, then sleep with socks on. People
Yeah,
might be like, yeah, I'm never doing that. You
yeah.
don't have to.
What is that? Some people do it though. Some people are like, yeah, I
But
always sleep with socks.
I do it sometimes.
Nah. Well,
I sometimes I fall asleep with my socks on, and I wake up
yeah.
like, why the fuck have I got my socks on?
What am I
But
doing, man?
apparently it increases blood. Well, it does increase
Yeah,
blood flow to the feet,
yeah,
and that takes the the body
Decreases
temperature.
body temperature, yeah.
Decreases your body temperature. So if you are doing all these things before you go to bed, your quality of sleep is going to be unparalleled to anybody else.
Yeah, mate.
We guarantee
Easy.
that.
I think just quickly touching on the socks again, what I actually do is I'll go to bed, read for half an hour or so, and in that half an hour I'll have my socks on. And then when I actually do want to go to sleep, I'll take them off and you're good to go.
Yeah. So obviously it does sound like there is a lot of things that we're telling you to do to get a better night's sleep. We're not saying that you have to do every single one of these.
Yeah, even
Maybe
though I
you
would.
incorporate. Yeah, I'd highly suggest that you do, but you could do, right, I'm going to get in a hot bath before I go to bed every day. That could be your first step. And then you could get in a hot bath, read while you're in the bath, get out, go to bed. That will literally put you to sleep in about 10 minutes. Because nobody likes to toss and turn and just like feel like they want to go to sleep but can't. Like that's such an awful feeling. I hate that.
Yeah, mate, it's the worst, isn't it? Obviously,
Just
there
like
is always going to be external factors, like if you're just stressed in general life situation, then sleep might suffer. For that, you could even invest in like CBD oil or something, I guess. But then you might become dependent.
I generally find reading quite good at just reducing stress because you're just kind of immersed in the book and there's nothing else really going on around you.
Yeah.
And then
I was going to say, or even meditation, if you just want to clear your mind before bed, so you're not just constantly thinking about stuff. Because the worst thing is when you're lying there and you just got like racing thoughts.
Yeah,
like, you just can't sleep.
And they're just thoughts that you can't control in the present moment. So
yeah, literally,
you're
worried about something that you've got to do tomorrow, but you can't do it now. So why are you worrying?
Yeah, so just read the book and go to bed, or if you're, as we said, if you're a madman, put your socks on and go to bed.
Yeah,
like it's completely up to you.
But overall, do these tips, get a quality night's sleep. And if you haven't already realised that if you don't get enough sleep, you're basically just killing yourself. So what are you doing,
You
mate?
are slowly killing yourself, or you're increasing the chance of killing yourself in the long term.
Yeah.
Like,
so if you want to be an obese person with cancer and possibly a heart attack, then have your 5 hours of sleep. But mate.
If you just make the conscious effort to get 8 hours of sleep a day, then all of that is not going to be a problem for you. So,
well, I mean, who knows? You could be on 8 hours sleep and just have a heart attack, but it's less likely.
That's life.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like,
sorry, bud.
Yeah. Sorry, pal.
Great way to end the podcast.
Well, okay. So, we hope you enjoyed that podcast. I think there was a lot of value in there.
A lot of value.
And that's what we try to do. We try to educate you on how important sleep is and how you shouldn't be taking sleep for granted, because it's essentially one of the most important things for you to do in a day, as well as being awake. Like, just as much as you're being awake, you need to recover, and sleep is the only time you're going to be able to recover properly.
Literally. I think we made it pretty clear that it is super important to get your sleep. But
so just make the conscious effort to get 8 hours of sleep a night and see how it goes, and let us know. Let us know if you've maybe started to take on these tips. See if they're working for you, because they've worked for us. So there's no reason, and we're nothing special. Like, we're just normal people. So like,
just a geezer in my bedroom with a fucking mic and laptop.
Yeah,
literally. But hope you enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube, little subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes, leave it a rating. Spotify, leave it a follow. Facebook group, get involved. Instagram.
Get involved with the
Yeah,
Facebook page.
follow us on Instagram, and I think that's all our plugs.
Yes, we don't like to do those plugs. Like
Nah.
we might just do them at the start and then
Yeah,
get
I
it
might just get
completely
them out
out.
of the way next time. But yeah,
Yeah, because it sounds like we just want we just want to get our podcast out there because we
yeah,
feel like we are providing a decent amount of value for the average listener,
free content and that,
and it's free
free
content for
value.
everyone. We're giving it out for free, and we like
Exactly,
to think that we're knowledgeable people.
exactly.
So
Well,
yeah,
there we go.
we hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.